So we talked about there being minerals, obviously, from rock in soil, there being organic matter. The other big thing that is in soil are bacteria and fungi. Bacteria in your soil, which is naturally occurring if you begin to leave it alone and let it develop, bacteria will take the leaves that you put onto your field, decompose them, and as the bacteria is eating that carbon, it is spitting out nitrogen. So this natural soil bacteria provides a natural source of nitrogen to your field. Now, the fungi in the soil, they find a way of bringing that soil nutrition, the nitrogen, the calcium, the other things that are in the soil, and delivering them to the plants. Once the soil is built its own ecosystem and rejuvenated its own ecosystem, there's actually very little that you need to do to amend. There's not a lot of fertilizer sort of becomes it becomes too much. And so often we see home gardeners really over fertilizing their fields. Compost has become the new organic battle cry, and we have organic gardeners and organic farmers putting on way too much compost, and compost is just like fertilizer. Eventually those bacteria will start breaking it down and spitting out nitrogen, and if there's too much compost, you are polluting the groundwater just as much as if you were putting anything else on your field. So really checking your soil test and making sure that that balance is always maintained is a pretty important part of at least setting up the bed. You may find that your soil is a lot healthier than you think, particularly if you haven't been using a lot of sprays and things on it for the last 5 years. Sometimes the best thing you can do for soil is just absolutely nothing. Leave it alone and it will reestablish and set itself up again beautifully. As important as it is to me to grow plants, I know ultimately what I'm trying to do on this farm is feed people. And so I am trying to grow nutritionally dense food. And if you start with a piece of ground that has been growing grass for a long time, if you're just plowing up your lawn for the first time, all of the microorganisms and fungi in that soil have built themselves up. They've been really just speaking grass for the last however many years. And so the balance of microorganisms in that soil will have slowly fixed itself towards optimum grass growing. If you then ask that same soil to grow a bean or a tomato, it's like a different language. And so a lot of time home gardeners, when they first plow up a lawn, think, oh, this is brutal, you know, nothing is taking, and so they start dumping on the Miracle-Gro, when in fact it does take about 2 or 3 years, 3 seasons, to get soil naturally to change its language, to change its sort of ecosystem, to support things like beans and bigger feeding plants.